Well, my challenge today is to try and capture this great scene from Yorkshire. Isn't it amazing with this hillside with these purples and this bit of church in the background, in the foreground here with the village and the light on the front and some shadow there. Some great colours, some great challenges to get these purples and the greens. Look at the variety of greens there are. Quite demanding actually to see if I can pull that off. But I thought I'd have a go. Nothing like a challenge. And you'll see, well, I don't know whether you can see, it's bleached out a little bit. I've sketched out there the rough pattern, my rough design. So I'm going to just do some blocking, but I've got to wake up my paints, of course. A bit sleepy, a bit dry. Use them for a day or so. Let's do that. Get them going. And I'm just looking at my sky, my reference. I think I'm going to do a wet into wet, really. A nice big brush I've got here, this Chinese calligraphy brush. So I think I'm just going to wet the paper here. This is 140 pound weight. It's rough, fairly rough, I think, paper. I think that, yes, you can probably see the graphite here, my pencil marks. Give it a good soak. Got the paper tilted, my easel tilted a bit, so we'll get some running of the water, which we want, certainly in the hillside there. I can see the shine on it still. Be a fairly loose interpretation, but I want to get some degree of accuracy with my village, my church. So I think I'll just wash in over the village and over the church there in the foreground, but let's get on with this. Make a nice puddle. It's a fairly cloudy sky there, so it's got a fair puddle. Can you see that? So I'm going to just sweep it in here. Bits of purple and a mixture of blues actually. I've got some cadmium, some ultramarine, cobalt, even a little bit of cerulean actually. Of course it always dries considerably lighter, so I must try and get a thicker mix really. Doesn't come down too far, of course, because we're looking into a valley there. Let's get some decent colour there, I think. Let's leave it at that. And so I'm going to do it in sort of washes. I want a variety of washes to as my base anyway. So let's have a look. It's drying. Need to let that dry a little bit, but let's get some greens, I think, just in sort of this area down here. So let's get a bit of hookers mixed with variety of some sap green perhaps as well. Yes, I think I'm just going to do a gentle wash in there. These greens. And over here. And we've got a sort of meadow over here with some sheep on, grazing away, so we'll get on with that in a minute. But my church, I'm just trying to see the extent of, I want to create some depth with this as well, so I have to have a paler in the distance. My green's a bit paler. My greens come right, so I'm sort of painting around that church there. I think that can do for the first wash there. And then I could also have some raw sienna mixed with a bit of that green to give me some interesting greens. Trees, one here, we've got a sort of quite a yellowy one here, so I'm going to mix some ochre there, but I think a bit of nice yellow, step it up a bit. Colours there, and some raw sienna perhaps. Some lighter ones here. Yes, do that. A bit of umber to give me some darker wash here. Right. Let's get some darks, different greens going along here. It's a little bit wet there. But on the hillside, I have got some more greens. So I'm going to let this bleed in a little bit. This gives me quite a diffuse colours. A lot of brown in here too. Big stand of autumnal coloured trees here. So I've got some umber there, little bits of orange. Yes, we'll leave that for a minute. Well, I think we can bring that up. I think we need to bring it up there a bit. And I've got an interesting green here, just in this clump of trees as well. Can't see them as individual trees at the moment. More just a sort of stand of various greens. I can step up that much greener there. And in this, we've got some purples come in behind here. Sort of purpley red, so let's make some interesting colour. I don't have to follow slavishly. And we've got quite a stand of bluey purpley colours on the hillside there. And let's see what I can come up with. So I want to make some real contrasts as well, and is here as well, and slightly redder in that central section as well. So I'm standing back a bit now and squint my eyes. Let's see where my darker values need to be. think I need to put a variety of greens. Oh, lots of contrast. Let's see what we can get there. And I think in here they're quite bluey greens. So I'm going to take some ultramarine, a little bit of viridian perhaps, yes. Let's see if I can suggest quite a stand of furs here. Quite a body actually, quite a slab of green there. And again, we got to vary it as much as I can. Got the darks on the hillside a bit better too. Need to try and it's a little bit too dark because it's in the distance, but I want you to be able to see the line of the hillside there. That's better, coming together. And I think we must get some different purpley colours in some of these areas. Yes, I think so. I want to suggest on that top edge something sort of a bit conical to suggest furs. You should put some light in there as well, lighter colours, at some stage to pick out little highlights anyway. But this, I have to have a nice darks, and this purple here as well. Let's put some reds and a little bit more red here as well. browns. Some greens, get more and some green in here. Got a nice tree here. I think I need a little bit of ochre in it now. That's right, it's quite a specimen tree, and I've got the green one there, which we nice one there, and our meadow comes somewhat down there behind these village buildings here. I think we should get for a smaller brush. Yes, another one of my Chinese calligraphy brushes. I think we could lift out a little bit of that. Don't think we need quite so dark. Right. And I just about here we've got a lovely orangey, yellowy tree. I think we've got to get that in. Yes, I think it's quite a lovely specimen, that is. Try and get the shape a little bit. And then we've got to make sure we've got some contrast with this tree. Right, and up there's a sort of like a bit of a quarry, so I ought to see if I can get something up there that might suggest a little bit of blue, grey there. Yes, that's right. I think there's some bluey bits in here as well. But I think I ought to go and dry it a little bit. Let's get the hair dryer, so I've got a bit more. Right, I'll turn it off because you don't want to hear this. Well, I've dried it up a bit now, so that will give me a little bit more control to put in some little trees, different trees, little clumps, without it diffusing too much. But there's a real mixture of greens here. So I've got various greens, viridian and sap and hookers. Again, I think we need to make sure we can see that line of the hillside there. So we'll tickle that in. I'm keeping it fairly light, of course. I don't want it too much colour because it will bring it forward. I don't want to do that. I want it to give a little bit of distance. But we've got these dark screes of gravel coming down there. And here I've got some darks. That's it, I think. Right. Now we've got some brightish green in the middle distance here. So that's quite light, isn't it? But I've got to get a bit of variety in it so it reads like a bit of meadow. I think we put a bit of yellow in it as well, just to give it some warmth. Also, we need to get some in here. But let's concentrate on this. Right, I think that can do the job for the moment. But I've got to put in some dry stone walls as well. I've got to try and get these flecks of light out. I think I need to bring down these stand of trees here as well to help our composition. They were there in the photograph. As I said, I don't have to follow it, but I think it's a good design. They say you should always, if you go to paint from a photograph, make sure it's a good one. And I think this is certainly a great picture. So I've got to try and do some justice to it. Now, perhaps I should get on and paint in some colours on these buildings. How shall we do that? They're ochre's always a good go-to colour, I think. That's not ochre, but it's got some ochre in it. Just if you want it lighter, just add a bit more water. Got the buildings here. I'll put some features in for the roofs. Of course, they're going to be different colour. Let's just go with that for the moment. Right. I think I need a different brush. Let's get, yes, this is another Chinese one. Got a little bit of stiffness in that brush that allows me to get a little bit more control there. Just a gentle wash at the moment, but I need also to put some slaty, bluey colours in the roof. Some of these rooftops there. Yes, and then we need to get a darker colour just to come down this side. Few features in the church there. Something. I'm going to some conventional watercolour brushes now. I need a bit more control. So yes, I've got some better ones here. Nice Daleroni here. Round, number 4. So I think that's what I need. It needs to be a bit yes, that helps a little bit. Window here, window here. Another rooftop here. We're looking down on these. And there's so they're all in a little bit of a dip, so you don't necessarily see the front there. You do this house, the rooftop there. Couple of chimneys in. See the side of the house here. Other sort of outbuildings and various little bit of different colour in that roof, a bit darker. So you just see little bits of the various rooftops and buildings here. Well, there's the finished painting of this scene in Yorkshire, in the Dales I think it is. So I've put some white in, and I've put some sheep in. I don't know if you can see them there. A little bit of shadowing here, and a little bit more on the woodland, but also a little few marks to hint a bit of shadow under some of the clouds there. And also there's a little bit of a pond or a small lake down there, so I've got a little bit of white down there. Anyway, if you like this, please give me a thumbs up, and any comments I'd be interested to hear as well. Thanks for watching. Right across this building here, we need to put some windows as well though. Some chimneys as well. And also I've got a nice tree here. Let's fill that in. Stand of different conifers, I think they were. Yes. They've got bits of yellow in them as well. Or orange. Let's see if we can give some interest. That's better. And I need some shadows under these buildings here though. Let's get some of that shadow colour again. It's casting a shadow. Shadows all across here as well. I think the light is shining left to right. It's not till we put a bit of light and dark in strategic points that you start to see some sort of form otherwise things look a bit flat. We've got a shadow line as well, so let's step up that. I'm squinting my eyes now, looking for shadowy forms. And it all comes under that stand there. Quite. And here dark as well. I need to get this in. Along this bank as well. I need to introduce something there. Yeah, we need more. Fill this bit in with green, I think, this meadow. It's not reading right. And of course we've got to get all this done. Again, vary it if I can there. We need some darks, colours. Dark green is ultramarine. At the base of these three. Also down here, sort of under here. Need some darker colours on that roof, that church. I think we can put a nice bit of a tree here in the, I think this is, also this, a bit of green. All sorts of village gardens are showing as we look down on this. So we've got an opportunity to use some different colours. I need to have a much more vivid green in the foreground there. So it's a bright green, so I think I'm going to put a bit of lemon yellow to warm it up a little bit. this. It's helping us. We can put a few different shrubs and plants in here, vary the colours. I can step up try and put a few branches in, I think. So that needs to be a bit darker. We need to do some here as well. Some here. The hedge along there. Let's make sure we've got this darker here though. It's not really dark enough. It goes right up into here as well. I think we could put some more purple on it. Let's really step up a little bit of vivid purple in here. Hillsides this time of the year, amazing colours. Little splashes of dark coming on the hillside as well. Some soft edges, places. Right. Use your nail, you can sometimes scratch some lighter forms in to represent the different bark. I think I can just see, yes, I could do that with my nail. Yes, I can see that. I need to have sufficient dark as well. I've got to be careful not to overwork it. Always a great danger. I think I can have a little textural difference there. And how is that tree reading? In the middle here. A little bit of colour maybe here and there. need to give a little more shape to this, I think. Yes, I'll do. And actually the base of it, I think, comes behind a building which looks like some solar, with some solar panels there. So let's just some building with a lot of them there. There we've got to put some shape in as well, just along here. So how do we do that? To the line a little bit. Right. Now let's get some white, a little bit of gouache going, and put some shape in. If I can find my gouache. Yes, I have it here. I've got some Winsor & Newton designers gouache. This is handy stuff if you want to put a little pop of white into something. So let's just put a few sheep in here. See if we can give a little bit of lift to some of these things. So I take this straight from the and we've got the church clock there. Got a little bit of light on the top of some of these buildings, perhaps. Oh, I know what I've